came up with the idea that I needed to prove to myself and to others that I didn't need anybody else, that I could do things on my own. And so on the outside, I always try to maintain an appearance of having it all together, but on the inside, it was full of fear.
I was evil. I was wicked. I only cared about myself. I was going down a bad path, and I, deserved to be put down and shamed.
The past 5 years, I've had an on and off struggle with self-harm, and that was my outlet for my anger. It was something I kept really hidden.
My father was someone I hated. When I was 15, I found out he wasn't my real dad, and I hated him most of my life. He was on drugs and just wasn't really around.
Becky and I's marriage before Christ was, frankly, a disaster.
I was a really angry person earlier on in our marriage. There was a lot of turmoil there. There was a lot of pride.
I had reached a place where I was at kind of the bottom.
I was dealing with some really deep wounds from my different places in my life, and I really struggled to get past that. And after 20 years of marriage, I walked away from everyone and everything that I knew, including God.
I've struggled with depression for my whole life. I distinctly remember at the age of 11, wrote a note that I wanted to die, and I tore it out and I laid it on my bed, and I wanted someone to notice.
I had financial security, and I had a bright occupational future. But I was dying on the vine. I didn't have much of a spiritual life. Broke my neck in a wave accident in Hawaii, and it left me paralyzed from the neck down. Jesus was right there even from the beginning. I would be praying for recovery of my legs, and he wanted to talk to me about my issues of the heart. He's good for his promises, and I live by those promises. I've trusted him with my eternal future, but I've also trusted him for my here and now. So I've got a better life now.
I will be perfectly whole without this depression in heaven for eternity. When you find Jesus and you have a relationship with Jesus, you are allowing God to be the author of your life. His ways are much better than ours.
What I had mistakenly thought was that it was about me, that it was about what I had to offer or what I had to give. It's really all about Jesus and what he did and what he offers. I do not feel that I'm under a cloud of shame any longer.
The only place to turn was to the Lord. Felt him drawing me, felt him there for me. And that freedom and that joy of turning to Christ and truly repenting of your sin and truly just turning away from that life of selfishness was so freeing.
I love redemption because I've seen it personally in my life, and I've seen it in our kids' lives, and I've seen it in our marriage.
Met a pastor when I was in jail, and he explained Jesus to me in a whole new way. So I said yes, I want to accept the Lord. I want to give my life to Christ, and my life changed. Relationships that were just super broken were restored, mainly with my father. Ended up getting to share with him what Jesus was like and what it meant to be to know the Lord. I was actually the minister at his funeral.
God showed up, and I felt his love around me, and I heard this thought that I needed to go home and throw away what I had been using. I felt this boulder lifted off my shoulders that I didn't really even know was there. And I think that living for God instead of myself is so worth living for.
I've truly been forgiven of so much. and I still had a lot of shame. God said, no, shame off you, shame off you. You do not need to be ashamed. Your sin is not too great for him.
Jesus broke through, and all the pride I had in my heart, my rebellion that I had built up my whole life just crumbled, and I dropped to my knees and I said, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. And I haven't been able to get enough since.
What does it feel like to be forgiven?
Oh man, what does it feel like to be forgiven? It just feels like a huge weight is lifted off my shoulders. Oh man. It just feels like 37 years worth of weight on my shoulders has been lifted off. It feels pretty good. And I feel like I'm finally able to be who I was made to be.